Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Hokko Life. It is a kind of cozy life sim that I've seen a few people talking about. I didn't really know much about it before I bought it. I just saw it on sale for about $6, I think. And I was like, what the hey? It's super on sale, let's give it a shot. So this is what the game looks like. We will kind of go over what the map looks like, what you can do where, all the mechanics that I've unlocked so far. I've sunk a few hours into this just so I could get a good feel for it. And then we'll kind of talk about some pros and cons. I've made a little list. So first off, let's head to this shrine. So the map is a little larger, which, is nice because there's more to do, but it feels like it takes a long time to run from one extreme edge to the other, so it's nice that they have this fast travel aspect that you can unlock slowly. As you can see, I've already unlocked a few of the shrines, that way I can fast travel to them. They're not terribly hard to unlock, you just have to put materials from the area into it, wood, grass tufts, whatever it is that you're collecting. This game is big on having you collect materials and then craft with them. Of course, you can collect materials at the mines, regular old material collecting there. Mountaintop, much of the same, it's just kind of a in-between destination. In the mountains, you can head to the farm. I haven't unlocked the farm yet. I'm assuming you can collect vegetables, and they've mentioned cooking a little bit, so I think there's cooking later in the game, but we'll see. The grove is just somewhere to do more fishing. There is bug catching and fishing in this game. And then if you come over here, small woods, not much to do there right now aside from gather resources. And then down here in the meadow is kind of the village where all the houses are at. The story of this game really kind of follows the Animal Crossing style story where you come into a town, you're escaping your city life, you are kind of living in this small cute town, and you're recruiting more animal villagers to live here as well. You're beautifying the town, you're decorating it, and there's some kind of story progress that kind of opens up new game mechanics like crafting and things like that. So that's nice. There's a little beach area, just another place to fish and collect, sand, whatever building materials. And then town center is kind of where all your shops are going to be for the most part. There's just little fashion stores and item shops, and this is where you kind of get permits to build new houses for new animals to move in. There's also a hotel here where animals visit, and that's how you get new villagers. It is very easy to kick out villagers that you don't like. That's the main bit of this game. There is another place that you can travel to where you can just do a little bit of seasonal shopping and you can kind of showcase your from scratch designs and buy other people's from scratch designs. And if you're like, Jill, what do you mean from scratch designs? If we go back into the town here, one of these is a crafting workshop area. And in here you'll find, I believe Sally is her name, and you'll find crafting benches and design benches, and you can actually kind of design furniture items from scratch. You make your own blueprint for it. So you come into this blank screen and you're like, okay, there's nothing here. Let's add some stuff. What if I want a really unusable table that has this pyramid top? And what if I want to add one leg in the middle because I am a crazy lady? That kind of make your own stuff, and you can change the colors and you can stretch things and you can move them up and down and change things. So it's nice that you can really build whatever you want from scratch. I've seen some impressive things that people have made. And in that town that I mentioned earlier, you can put your designs up for sale, you can buy other people's designs. Other than that, there's not that much to that town. So that basically covers kind of the basics of the game. Collecting materials, crafting them, hanging out with your villagers, decorating your island. I keep saying island because I'm so used to Animal Crossing. Decorating your little town. So that basically covers all the mechanics that I have seen so far. I think I've pretty much unlocked most things aside from that farm, and I'm hoping there'll be farming and cooking, but we'll see. So let me kind of move on to my list of pros and cons. Let's get started with the pros first. This game is very simple, relaxing. It's very much one of those chill games that you play at your own speed, and if there's parts of the game that you don't like, maybe you don't like mining, I don't think you're really missing out by focusing more on decorating or other parts of the game that you enjoy more, which is nice. This game has a decent amount of variety to offer, and I don't think it's going to punish you for focusing more on the stuff that interests you more and doing less of the things that interest you less. I think that if you are someone who's really into catching the bugs and fishing and you focus on that more, you're not really missing out on much in the mining. So that is nice. The price is also nice too. I think I paid less than $7 for this game, which is good for the amount of content I have seen, so far. But I think that if I paid too much more for this game, I would be a little salty, to be quite honest. So let's move on to the cons. I hate to be negative, but I want to keep it real with you so you can make a good decision about whether this game is for you or not. So my number one con is that this game is just kind of ugly. The aesthetics don't really do it for me. The characters don't really do it for me. When I was designing my character, I was like, why are all these little bald spots on her head? And why can't I get the hair color to be even? And I really had to struggle to try to get the character to look decent. And even then, I don't know, not super great. The villagers that you can get, also not super great. Some of them are truly nightmare fuel. I'm trying to run into some of my uglier ones. I really hunted for some of the cuter ones to try and have some better villagers, but there are quite a few ugly ones, and their designs just don't all feel, very inspired, or I don't know, something about them is just very off-putting to me. So that's my number one con, is just the aesthetics of the game aren't doing it for me. Again, that's very objective. This might be an aesthetic that you like a lot. For me, it's just not really doing it, from the houses to the characters to your character that you make yourself to the way you're able to decorate homes and things. It just doesn't really do it for me. That kind of leads into my second con of feeling like this game is just kind of unfinished or not polished. I think that there's just a lot of little things that they could have polished off a little bit better. Some of the mechanics especially are just, I don't know, they're just not very intuitive. They don't feel very streamlined. A lot of the stuff ends up feeling extremely tedious because it's just, the mechanics aren't super great. The menuing, the pulling out your tool, not being able to do anything else when you have your tool, having to swap your tool manually, you can't scroll through tools, just like little stuff like that makes playing a game less seamless and more tedious, and then you just don't feel like you want to put as many hours in the game. So if you are coming into this expecting a life sim kind of like Animal Crossing or kind of like Stardew Valley or Sunhaven, lower your expectations. It's not as polished as those games. Which kind of brings me to another con. There are games out there who, the games are doing exactly what this game is doing, but more polished, more finished, more streamlined, just overall better. And this game is not really bringing anything unique to the table. This game just feels like every other cozy game out there, so why not play something that, is better? If you're burnt out on those other cozy games, don't get this game because you're going to be disappointed because it's just like those other games, but not as good of mechanics. And if you really like those other cozy games and you're looking for something extra, you might like this for a while, but you're gonna go back to those games and be like, man, that game was just not as polished. So that could end up happening to you too. I don't really see a good target audience for this because there's just so many good cozy life sims out there right now. Overall, I feel so bad being so negative about this game, but those are kind of my main cons. It just feels like there's other games that are already doing everything this game is doing and doing it a lot better. The controls on this game aren't super great. There's just nothing about this game that stands out to me as like, oh yeah, this is what makes this game worth it. I think the only thing that could really be a saving grace for this game is that those kind of from scratch custom designs that you can make. Here is something that someone made that I purchased whenever I was in the town. I think I found something else cool. Maybe I didn't put it up in my village. I thought I put it on my beach though. But that might, oh here it is. That might be like the saving grace of this game, is that you can just make such interesting little things from scratch. You can really have whatever you want. The villagers are, nice too, even though they're kind of ugly, because they have fetch quests for you pretty much every time you talk to them so far, so that is nice too. Overall, I'd say skip this game unless you can find it for really cheap, or unless these aesthetics are just really calling to you and you want to spend a lot of time making these designs and the tedium isn't going to bother you too much. That is it for this video. Sorry the last half was a little negative. I feel so bad bashing any game because I know a lot of hard work goes into these games, but this one just didn't do it for me. If this looks like something that you would enjoy, or if it's something you've tried out, Let me know how you feel about it down below, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.